everybody, it's Bobby from the Inspired Knitting Podcast. Today I thought I'd do a different kind of video and talk a little bit about the 2018 project challenge that's currently going over on Ravelry's website. So I'm going to share with you a little bit about what it's about, how you can join it, and then kind of share with you my top 10 projects that I would like to do for this year. So if you're interested, do stay tuned. So, what's the challenge about? So, just before the new year, Ravelry announced the challenge, and it's pretty much just setting up a goal of what you'd like to do for the new year in regards to your knitting or your crocheting too. So, you can set in an amount of projects that you'd like to complete for the year. So, for myself, I put 30 projects. Now, bear in mind that you don't have to keep this number. It can be changed at any time. So if you feel that you've maybe taken on too much, you can go back in and you can change, or if you feel you've completed them all and you would like to do more, you can go back in and add some more to it. So you can totally change it throughout the year as you wish. So how this works is you put your main goal, and then you can go and add in different projects. So if there's certain patterns that are on Ravelry that you'd like to do, you can add them to the challenge tab and put a date for when you'd like to finish them by. So I'll get in a little bit later on how you can do that, because I couldn't figure it out at first, so I will share that with you guys. So pretty much that's what the challenge is about. I thought it was pretty cool. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do it at first. A lot of you know, if you're a viewer of the podcast, I don't really like goals, resolutions. I don't really set hard-packed goals just because I'm the type of person that if there is a deadline or something like that, I can get pretty stressed out, and knitting is something I do for fun, so I don't want the fun to be taken out of it. However, I thought this would be pretty cool because it's, like I said, you can change it up. So if you took on too much or what have you, it can be changed. So it doesn't feel as goal oriented. I don't know if I'm even making any sense right now, but I thought it was a cool challenge. And besides, I'd like to try to partake in more things like that this year as well, like knit-alongs and stuff like that. So I thought it was an awesome challenge. So I will explain to you how you can join it. Just before the new year, Ravelry put a post on their main page on what the challenge was about, and from there you could sign up for it. Now, I don't know if you still have to refer to this post to sign up for the challenge, or if the challenge tab is already in your notebook under your projects page. I'm not sure how they have formatted it now, but for myself, when I went to sign up, I referred to the post that they wrote and I signed up. Now I will explain how you can find this tab, because I couldn't find it for the life of me. I admit that. So, what you're going to have to do is, after you signed up, or if you don't have to refer to that, you're going to go to your notebook and go to your projects page. So I'm going to be using my tablet, and I'm going to use it as a reference to show you guys. And I'm also going to show you when it comes time for the projects that I'm doing, I'm going to show you project pictures so you can get an idea of what I'm talking about. So anyways, here is a view of my projects page on Ravelry. So the challenge tab, you're going to find it on the top right here. So I don't know if it's washing out or not, but the very last one on the right of your projects page will be your challenge tab. So you're going to click that, and from there you will see this. So this is my challenge tab, or challenge page. So at the very top of it, you are going to see what your initial goal was for the year. So as you can see, if you can, minus 30. Now you're going to see right under that, which is right here, you can actually go in and change it. So it says, wait, I want to change this. So you would just click on that and then you can reset that number of projects. Going on from there, you're going to see your progress. So I have completed these 3 projects so far this year. And then underneath here, you're going to see the projects that you have put in the challenge page. So these are patterns that I found on Ravelry and I have added them to my challenge tab. So that's kind of a rundown of what the challenge tab would look like. Now I'm going to share with you and talk a little bit about how you get the patterns into your projects or your challenge page here, because I had trouble with this as well. I signed up for it, then I figured out where the challenge tab was. Now I will admit I use my cell phone a lot, so maybe I just didn't see the challenge tab appear. Maybe it was out of frame, I'm not sure. But yeah, it is on the projects page. I don't feel that Ravelry quite explained it out very well. Perhaps they did and I just didn't understand it. But regardless, I will share this information with you guys anyway. So to get the projects into the challenge page, you have to go to your queue. So if you were to go to your queue on Ravelry, you're going to add them in from there. So here is my queue. Now what you're going to do is you're going to click that little pencil icon that's next to the pattern. Once you do that, you're going to get a new tab that shows up where you can put in the name of the yarn that you'd like to use for the project, tags, any notes that you'd like. But what you're looking for the challenge is actually this box right here, which is the finish by. So you're going to click that little calendar and then you can put in when you'd like to finish that project by. So once you do that and save it, it's going to then send that project or that pattern over to the challenge page. That's the only way that you can add things to the challenge tab. There's no tab on the challenge to do that. That's what I thought. I was looking all over and I thought, okay, how do I add projects to this? I finally found the tab. Now how do I add the projects to it? Well, that's how you have to do it. So if you're thinking, how do I set the date for a project? Like if it's a shawl or a sweater, what if I don't complete it by that time? You don't have to worry. You can still change it. So if you feel that you need more time, you can go back in and adjust the date. It's just a fact that by putting in that date, it's getting that pattern into your challenge tab so it appears there. Now, a quick side note on that is once it does appear in your challenge tab, any patterns that are in there, you cannot click on them and they will not directly take you to the pattern. So that is a little, that would have been nice if you could do that, but if you want to find the pattern or go to the pattern page, you actually either refer to your projects page or your queue to find them again. So if you are scanning through Ravelry and you find a nice sweater or something like that that you'd like to do and you don't add it to your queue, oh, you can actually add it to your queue, yes, but just make sure you click that finished by to get it into your challenge thread. So I hope you guys made sense of all that. I'm trying to remember everything as I go here. So that's pretty much the rundown of what the challenge is and how you can join it. And as I said, don't feel overwhelmed by it because you can change it at any time. Now, another quick thing that I will add here about it as well is that if you don't want to take those extra steps by going into your queue and adding in a finish date and all that, don't worry. Any project pages that you create for your projects, as soon as you complete them and finish them, you just click the little calendar and say, I finished this project by such and such date, and it's automatically going to show up that you completed that in your challenge. So you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to go through all the extra steps if you don't want to with the queue. Just make sure that you put them in your projects page and put I finished it by, and it will automatically show up under your challenge. So yes. Okay, now going on to talk about a little bit about what I have set in here for my challenge. I'm just going to quickly go back to my projects. Now for me, so far this year, I have completed 3 projects. So I've completed 10% of my goal of this year. So for my 3, I have my evergreen socks. I completed them on the 6th of January. I have my Tupelo slouch, which I completed on January 22nd. And I have my 80 top-down cardigan, which I just completed this week. So they already showed up in my challenge page, so that's nice. Then I have my plans that I have set. So these are patterns that I have not well, actually I have started them. These are the things that I'd like to do that I haven't completed yet, is what I wanted to say. So, how I'm doing my challenge. I set my goal for 30 projects. Now I definitely have more than 30 projects in my queue that I could add to this. However, I am choosing not to. For me, I am going to do it, at least for the time being, 5 projects at a time. So for me, right now, that's in my challenge tab is works in progress. So at least 4 out of 5 are. I don't want to cast on a bunch of new things for the challenge and not complete old ones. So for right now, my works in progress are in this. So I'm going to just go back to my queue here so I can refer to pictures as I talk. So the first thing I'd like to complete in 2018 that's part of the challenge is my sister shawl by Cozy Up Designs, which is also Cozy Up with the Stitchin' Sisters podcast here on YouTube. So it was a 5-week knit-along, and it actually just ended last week, I believe. They've extended it an extra week, so if you haven't finished your shawl yet, you have an extra week to finish it. And they did draw for some prizes on their last podcast on Thursday, but once the week is over, now today is Sunday, February the 11th, so I don't know if it ends today or if they're extending it to sometime this week. You'll have to refer to their podcast, like their last podcast, to find that out. I watched it, I just can't remember. But yes, it was a 5-week mystery knit along for a shawl. I completed, I'm on clue 4 right now of 5. So I fell behind. I had knitter's block, and I have some other knits that are priority knits. Now the shawl isn't really a priority. It's for myself, so it doesn't really matter when I finish it. I wanted to join the mystery knit along, which has been fun. However, I'm not definitely going to have it done in time. That's fine. I don't care. I was still able to partake in it, and I had a lot of fun, and unraveling the mystery of it. It's a lot of fun, and it's a beautiful shawl. I'm loving it. So, I'm going to show you a picture, because the surprise is pretty much out there now. I'm sure you guys have seen it at this point. But I'm going to try to find a nice picture here of what the shawl looks like. So here it is. This is my sister's shawl. And it's very beautiful, and it's full of beautiful texture, and it's got some lace sections in there. Super easy to knit. It's a fingering weight shawl. It's a 3-color one as well. And it's based on 2 solids, and then the second color is either a speckled or a tonal. And yeah, it's super fun. It's not only gorgeous, but it's really fun to knit. The only part that I would say was a little challenging for me was the lace section. It's not hard, but you do have to concentrate when you're doing it, or you could mess up on it. So anyways, regardless, I'm on clue 4 out of 5, so I'm getting there. I would like to work on it a little bit tonight if I can, and possibly maybe have it done this week. I'm not pushing it. Like I said, I have some priority knits right now, so I want to try to get them done. But yeah, if I don't, that's okay. But that one's almost done, so that's my number 1 in the challenge. My number 2 in the challenge, if you have watched my podcast, you've heard about it before, but I would like to get this one done and off my needles. It is my Straight to the Point Baby Afghan by Yarns Untangled. And here is a picture of the blanket. So it's super cute and pretty. Now, it starts at this point here and then increases out to that next point. And it creates this pretty and neat looking blanket. So you probably heard me talk about it before if you watch the podcast, but I'll just tell you a little bit about it if you have not. It's a 2-color blanket, so you have your main color and a contrast color, and you're like fading them in with each other. I think according to the pattern, I have already reached the appropriate size, or the size in pattern for this blanket, but I'm going to continue. I believe my contrast color is actually more yardage than the one that was called for, so I might have a slightly larger blanket, but I'm loving how it's turning out, so I might actually continue with it. And then once I reach a point where I'm done the contrast color, or I feel like I've had enough, I will cut the contrast and then just continue on with my main color. So this one, it's one of the priority knits. I mostly work on it when I watch TV, which ain't that much. I'm not really a TV person. I do have certain shows that I like to watch, but I would watch them on a computer. I watch lots of knitting podcasts. I love to watch those while I'm knitting and stuff. But yeah, I'm not really a TV person. But my boyfriend and I actually got into the Punisher series that Netflix had just put out. So we totally binged watched the first season, and now we can't wait for the second season to come out. There better be a second season. They said there's going to be. So yeah, we were binge watching that, and I got quite a bit done on my blanket. So it mostly gets love when I go in the car because that's my take-along project. It's just plain garter stitch, and every other row you're increasing, so it's super simple, so it's perfect for the car. But that's really the only time I've been working on it, so it hasn't been coming quite as fast along as I would like. But I'm just going to have to start taking it out regardless and working on it so I can get it done. It's almost there. She's getting pretty big. So anyway, that's my number 2 project for my challenge that I'd like to get done. So I would like to finish this one by March the 1st. So hopefully I can meet that. If not, it's fine. My sister's shawl, I put that I would like to finish that by the 12th of February. So I have to finish that by tomorrow. That ain't gonna happen. But as you see, if you've set a rough date, it's just that. It's just a rough date. You can extend more time if need be. It doesn't penalize you or anything of the sort. So I like that. So that's my number 2. My number 3 is my Kingston Tunic by Andrea Maui. So I'm just going to get you a picture of that one. So here it is. It's a beautiful pullover, and I hope you're able to see it. I think you can. It's got this beautiful like diamond texture on the body of the sweater, and this gorgeous cowl neck, this big cowl neck. So that's what drew me to the pattern in the first place, was that cowl neck. I actually didn't realize that the diamond pattern was on it. The project picture is like in a dark navy blue, as you see. So at first when I looked at it, it was on my phone. Like I saw it on my phone. So I didn't even see that texturing going on. But once I saw it on my computer, I was like, oh wow, I really love that. So that just sold me on it. I got the yarn for it, and it has a split hem. So I cast it on one side of the ribbing, and I'm on the second side. I've gotten halfway through it, and then I can join them in the round for the body next. So I haven't gotten very far on that one, but I set my due date for April 2nd. I probably won't meet that date. I don't know. That one is, I wanted to get that casted on because I would like to wear it while it's still cool. Here in the Maritimes, or New Brunswick, I've noticed that even though it's like April or May, to me it's still sweater weather. I run rather cold anyways, so to me it's still cool and damp enough that I can get away with wearing it. So I would like to get it done before the temperatures start to heat up that I can't, so I can get some use out of it. But yeah, I'm originally from Ontario, and in Ontario, if we're having a mild season, usually you could get some fresh air, like open the windows up in February. Not keep them open all night or anything like that, but just open them through the day to get some nice air in. Aprils can be rainy, but definitely by May and June, June definitely, you can be seeing humid X's by the 1st of June, or even in May sometimes. So it gets pretty warm, or at least where I lived in southern Ontario it did. But I've noticed since moving down here to New Brunswick that it's definitely a lot more cool and damp and rainy, which that for me does not suit well, because I always am cold, and when it's raining and damp like that, it does not make me feel very good. It just gets me right down to the bone. So anyways, sweater weather, and that kind of extends out a little bit. So I guess that is nice. But I would like to get this cardigan done so I can still wear it while it's still cool. So anyways, sorry about the tangent. My third project was the Kingston Tunic by Andrea Maui. My fourth one that I have in my Ravelry challenge, I also have casted this on. This is the Sauna Shawl by Helen Stewart. Now, I casted this on in the new year, I believe. I was watching the Grocery Girls podcast, and Tracy actually made one. And it's made of a chunky yarn. And I thought it was just so pretty and so cute. And because it's done with chunky, it wouldn't take that long to finish. So here's the shawl. Isn't that pretty? So it's got some garter, and it's got some pretty lace in there. And I've gotten through the first few sections, and it's super simple, so it's not that hard to do. I don't know if I'm going to be putting tassels on mine yet or not. I'm not really a tassel person, but I've been noticing lately that some podcasters are actually putting tassels on their stuff, and it actually looks kind of cute, so I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. So that was number 4 on my project challenge, the Sonner Shawl by Helen Stewart. Now my 5th one, and any that I'm showing you from now on at this point, I have not casted these on yet. These are dream projects or goal projects for 2018. So the next one on my list is the Jamie Shawl. And this is another one by Cozy Up Designs, and this is the one that Jamie created. It's a worsted weight shawl, and I am smitten with it. I really love this. I think it is so cute. It's full of beautiful texture and some lace, so super pretty. Now I'm just going to refer to her project page here for a moment, just to give you an idea of the yardage. It requires 600 yards of a worsted weight yarn on 6mm needles, or you can also use a DK weight, which would be roughly 725 yards on a 4.5mm needle. So it can be done in a DK as well as a worsted weight yarn. For me, I have chosen to go with a worsted weight yarn. I was going to actually use some stash that I had here, but I had misread the yardage and I don't have enough. So I had to make a small order for some knitting needles. My sock gauge is turned rather loose of late, so I needed to order some 2.0s. I usually use 2.5s, 2.25, sorry, for my socks. So I decided I needed some 2.0s just to see how it changes my gauge up. So I thought while I was ordering those, I would order some yarn for this shawl. So I end up going with Cascade 220 Heathers. It's a worsted weight, and I picked, it's like an earthy tone green, kind of like a tea leaf or green tea. I'm not too good at explaining colors, but it's kind of that tone of green. It looks pretty. Like I said, it's heathered, so I think it's going to be really beautiful. So that's what I'm going to use for this shawl. So I set a due date for the Sonner shawl by March 1st, which I don't know. And for the Jamie shawl, I set it for March 24th. Again, I don't know. These are just rough dates. I just wanted to get them in my challenge page. So that was number 5. Number 6 is another shawl. Like I said, guys, this is going to be the year of the shawls. This is the Parlor Shawl by Leslie Ann Robinson, and it was published in the Knit Graffiti Designs. Now, I'm pretty sure that Leslie Ann Robinson is actually the designer behind Knit Graffiti. I'm relatively new to this designer. I have added her on my Instagram, so I've been seeing lots of new designs coming out. She is mostly into brioche knitting, and I am new to brioche. Never done it. I have never tried it. Must admit, nervous about it, but I would love to try it. I'd love to give it a go. It looks really pretty. So, yes, I decided to settle on the Parlor. It looks like a fairly simple brioche shawl. So I'm just going to get a nice picture of it here for you. So there it is. So from what I can tell, it's just this black and white section that is brioche. And then the rest of the shawl, I think it's just like a garter lace type thing. But it looks super pretty and nice. So I thought that might be like a good starter project for me in regards to brioche. And it's another shawl, so there you go. So again, that one is the Parlor Shawl by Leslie Ann Robinson. So there's that one. Number 7 on my list for my challenge is a pair of socks. I am also joined in for doing the box of socks that Kristen from the Yarngasm podcast has going on. So the goal for that is to complete 5 pairs of, a pair of socks every month for the 12 months of this year. So I would like to try to do that. My January socks that I showed on the podcast actually ripped back to the cuff on those just because my gauge is way too loose. So I'm going to wait for my new needles to come in, and hopefully that'll help. But regardless, the next thing I have in here is a pair of socks that I'd like to do for that. Let's see here. These are the Fine and Dandy socks by Jessica Gore. And they are a very cute patterned sock. Hopefully you guys are seeing that good enough. So that is one pair of socks I'd like to complete this year. The next thing that I have, and I think I might have gone over my top 10 right now, but I'm just going to share with you a couple more. And I'm very sorry, my camera just like spazzed out on me. My lighting changed dramatically, but that's okay. At least you're seeing the patterns okay. So the next thing I have in my queue that I'd like to add to my challenge is the Bending Arrow by Charlotte Broy. And I've seen a few podcasters doing this shawl, and it just looks so pretty. I would love to do it. So, just trying to find a nice project picture here. Okay, so here it is. That's one picture of it. And then here's a picture of it more spread out so you can get an idea. I think it looks so pretty. So that's another shawl that I'd like to possibly do this year. I haven't put these ones in my my challenge thread yet. I think I've got up until the Jamie shawl because I have my works in progress, and since I completed my top-down baby sweater, because that was in the challenge, that moved into finish, so I put one more in to replace it, and that's my Jamie shawl. So the parlor and the socks and the Bending Arrow, these are just ones that are up next in my queue that I'd like to add to the challenge. So I just thought I would share them with you regardless. I might share a couple more, I'm not sure. I have this one I've had in my queue for a while now, and I'd really love to do it. I just want to find the right yarn for it. It is the Red Rock Canyon Shawl by Rosemary Rami Hill Designs, and it is just the most gorgeous shawl. But I think I attempted it a couple years ago. I casted it on, but this is back when I was in Ontario, so that project and yarn got left behind, so yeah, I can't do much about that. However, I've been wanting to do it again, but like I said, I just want to find the right yarn because it is so pretty. So here's the shawl. How pretty is that, guys? It's totally blowing out right now, but hopefully you can get an idea of what it looks like. It's very lacy, which semi makes me nervous, but yeah, I guess we'll see. It's just so pretty, and I would like to do that this year. And I think I'm going to show one more pair of socks, and then I'll end it there because I don't want the video to be too long. So this is another sock pattern by Jessica Gore. It's her First Star socks, which is another pretty textured sock. So there they are. So that's another one that I'd like to do this year. So along with the 2018 challenge, I'm doing the box of socks. So hopefully there's going to be 12 pairs of socks if I do the whole box of socks challenge for the year. So that's alone 12 projects. So I kind of deemed it feasible to complete 30 for the year. If I do or not, that's yet to be seen, because I've honestly set a main goal for shawls. I love shawls. I love the look of them, and I'm learning that they're very fun to knit, especially when you can play with color and stuff like that. So I'm picking rather big projects, so how many I get completed, I'm not sure, and whatever I choose to do in the meantime might affect that number. But regardless, like I said, it's just a fun little challenge to partake in, and it'll help you get through your knitting and set in a little bit of a challenge, but at the same time it's not overwhelming you because you can change it at any time. So I really like that. So anyways, that's pretty much the rundown of this video. I just wanted to share that with you guys in case you were interested, or perhaps you didn't even know what was going on, and just have a chat with you guys and share with you kind of what my plans are. So I hope you enjoyed the video. There will be a podcast out next week, so I'm going to try to get it out for Friday or Saturday. That's generally the days that I record on. Friday is generally the day I record on. I have been having horrible luck lately. I've been recording on my phone, but my phone is running out of storage. So by the time I'm done filming a video, which could run from 30 minutes to an hour, there's not enough space on my phone to produce the video on my phone and upload it to YouTube. So I was having a bit of issues with this in the last couple episodes. My videos have been late getting up. I prefer to record on the phone because it's definitely better quality than my computer here, as you could tell from this video. So last episode I ended up having to put it onto my iMac and produce it, which ended up taking all day and most of the night to upload after. So it's not fun. It was actually a bad experience. However, I'm just going to go with putting up a video next week. So hopefully by Friday or the weekend you're going to see a new episode up. So watch out for that if you're interested. If you are interested in any of these videos, make sure you comment. I'm happy to hear from you guys. I don't always get back right away, but I will try to, and I always reply. And if you'd like to reach out to me, you can send me an email. It's probably the best way to send me a message. I can answer you through Instagram because I'm checking Instagram every day, but I can't guarantee I'm getting all of your messages. I've heard some podcasters say that messages don't go through sometimes, so I'm not sure how it works, but best way is to email me. So it's sweetcomfortdesigns@gmail.com. So yeah, yeah, I will end the video there. I will see you guys all next week. Bye.